A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 13 verses 24 to 30. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. He told another story. God's kingdom is like a farmer who planted good seed in his field. That night, while his hired men were asleep, his enemy sowed thistles all through the wheat and slipped away before dawn. When the first green shoots appeared and the grain began to form, the thistles showed up too. The farmhands came to the farmer and said, "Master, that was clean seed you planted, wasn't it? Where did these thistles come from?" He answered, "Some enemy did this." The farmhands asked, "Should we weed out these thistles?" He said, "No. If you weed thistles, you will pull up the wheat too. Let them grow together until harvest time. Then I will instruct the harvesters to pull up the thistles and tie them in bundles for the fire. Then gather the wheat and put it in the barn." The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 13 verses 24 to 30. Today the Gospel speaks of two contrasting attitudes: the annoyance and irritation of man and the patience of God. The servants want to act in haste and are impatient, while the landowner represents God, who is ready to wait patiently. At times we are in a great hurry to judge, to categorize, to segregate the good here and the bad there. Remember the prayer of that self-righteous Pharisee, "God, I thank you that I am good, that I am not like the other men, malicious." Pope Francis explains the parable and says, God knows how to wait. With patience and mercy, He gazes into the field of life of every person. He sees much better than we do the filth and the evil, but He also sees the seed of good and waits with trust for them to grow. God is patient. He knows how to wait. This is so beautiful. Our God is a patient Father who always waits for us and waits with His heart in hand to welcome us, to forgive us. He always forgives us if we go to Him. The field owner's attitude is that of hope, grounded in the certainty that evil does not have the first nor the last word. And it is thanks to this patient hope of God that helps us to grow up. Although with malicious heart with so many sins, in the end can become good grain. But be careful, evangelical patience is not indifference to evil. One must not confuse good and evil. While facing the evils in the world, we are called to imitate the patience of God and to trust in the final victory of good, that is God. There is no one who is totally evil and totally bad. In spite of all the evil behaviors, there is something good in all of us. The bad behaviors in us are the weeds tricked by the evil in our lives. But the patient and loving God would allow us to grow with hope of nurturing and bringing into maturity those good in each of us. The weeds of all the wrong attitudes and behaviors will be burned in the fire of God's love and forgiveness. The good will overcome the evil, and in God's mercy, our purified self will reach Him. Let us ask Our Lady, our Mother, to help us to grow in patience, in hope, and in mercy with all our brothers and sisters.